You.
They offer me. Okay.
I
don't want to miss. I think somebody had emailed me with a careers question.
So yeah, the two students who are having trouble with accessing Glasgow Careers, I'm going to get back to them, have just figured out there seems to be a challenge with our joint programs with the School of Art. So I'll get back to those two students.
Okay. Somebody has asked, do recruiters hesitate to employ international students as they will eventually have to sponsor their visa? If you want to say a wee bit about that.
Yeah, I think in the UK we do have a very open policy of equality in recruitment, and employers do welcome diversity in their recruitment. So like having a mixed sort of cohort of students from different backgrounds, and international students certainly add a lot of value to that. There certainly is still some challenges with smaller employers not understanding how to hire international students, and that does still exist. So being as familiar with the sort of process and being able to talk to employers about that is very helpful. So it's fantastic that you're here and speaking to Jill today on that part of it. You know, the new 2-year process, as you're aware, as Jill was saying, is new. So not all recruiters is up to date on that. So being familiar with the process yourself and being able to kind of reassure employers certainly can help you when doing that. But we have had international students who've been successful with some of our larger recruiters who, as I said, do sponsor some of our larger recruiters and do welcome that sort of point. So it shouldn't be a consideration with employers here in the UK, but some of them may pose challenges if they're unfamiliar with the sort of processes and how they go about it. So arming yourself with that knowledge can help you in that process.
That's great. Someone's asked a question kind of more detailed about their own situation. So I would just say to the student who was interested in Teach First, thank you very much. Send your question in about the graduate route to my team, International Student Support, and we'll give you a more direct answer about your situation, if that's okay. Gail, you've mentioned about the Glasgow Careers side of things. We haven't recorded the session today, Tian, but I will forward the presentation to everyone who attended. I've been furiously trying to tick off everyone's names. I don't know if I've got everyone, so if you don't get the presentation, just let my team know by email and I'll send it on to you, and I'll share my team's email to everyone in the chat in a moment. Okay, so that's the next couple of questions. Okay, trying to find questions that I think would be most beneficial to share with everybody. Dawal's asked, can we apply for jobs with a graduate visa if companies are not willing to sponsor the skilled worker visa? So yes, you can. I mentioned that the graduate route visa allows visa holders to work in a lot of different categories at any skill level. There's only one prohibition on work, and that was work as a professional sports person. So if you hold your graduate route visa, remember, you can't work as a professional sports person. That's prohibited under the graduate route, but you can apply to work in lots of other skill levels and lots of other types of work as well. Okay. Alice asked, I'm going to make this the last question. I'm sorry, I know we've got lots of questions. I hope that in sharing the resources that are available, that you look into those and find the answers to your questions today. But if not, once you've had a look at the resources and you've still got questions, you're welcome to email my team about graduate route ones. The last one I'll need is Alice, and it's Gail, if we have more than 8 years work outside the UK, how should we reflect on it? Shall we apply for mid-careers level or entry-level ones?
I would suggest it depends what you're applying for, because if you've got more than 8 years work experience out of the UK and it's an entirely different sector to what you're applying to just now, then you may still be applying for an early experience. So for example, you had 8 years experience outside of the UK in accountancy, but you've now studied engineering and you're actually looking to become an engineer, you would still probably potentially be looking at sort of lower level positions because it's a new sort of sector. However, if your experience is completely transferable, so it's in a similar sort of role or the skills are sort of transferable, then you could potentially be looking at something more experienced higher in that sort of sector. I would really think about your application and your CV and how you reflect your experience, focusing on the transferability of the sort of skills and experience that you have from those 8 years, and really thinking about the relevance of the stuff that you've got to the actual current new role that you're actually applying to. If you come along to some of the sort of things like our CV masterclasses, that'll really help you to think about how you sort of tailor potentially that experience to an employer. But in terms of the actual job search and applying, I would say it really depends on whether it's directly relevant 8 years of experience, or whether you're having a bit of a transition into something new would kind of really make a difference. I hope that makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you, Gail. And I'm going to very quickly sneak in a last question because it's one that I love to answer, which is what's the difference between the graduate route and PSW? Well, the difference is, and I should have said this in my presentation, that PSW doesn't exist anymore. It's an immigration route that has not existed for several years now, although loads of students and lots of people refer to the graduate route as PSW. If I can encourage you all now to call it the graduate route, it's a different visa completely, and PSW doesn't exist. So if I can quickly sneak in my answer to that one. I'm going to share with you in the chat because I know there were loads of questions, and I'm really sorry we can't answer them all today just in this short session. But I'm going to share with you, first of all, my team's email address, but I suppose I should have shared this one first, which is the link to our Working in the UK After Studies webpage, which I would really like you all, please, to have a look at if you've got further questions, because either hopefully in the summary of the graduate route on that web page or in the links to the other resources, you'll hopefully find your answers to your questions before emailing. The UKISA web page with the really clear summary of the requirements is linked on that web link as well. So I hope you can all go in and have a look and find the answers to your questions. But if you can't, then please feel welcome to contact us about the graduate. Okay. I think we'll have to leave it there yet. We're after 3, but thank you all very much. We had over 130 students at one point in our session, which is fantastic. And thanks very much to Gail for speaking today. I wish you all a very lovely afternoon, and we'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much.